I don't know that our guest has had time to watch soap operas. Think about the journal you kept as a teen. I remember writing about family and friends and school and boys, and most memorably, the day a McDonald's opened in our small town. That was a big deal. Our next guest chronicled puberty, and instead of hiding his journals, he used them as inspiration for a book. It's called Surviving Puberty. Author Chad Bishoff, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So the concept here and how this came to be, would you explain?
Well, I mean, it was a long journey that involved many painful years writing in my journal. And then it took a lot of pressure from friends to convince me, hey, let's turn this into a book and share this with everybody.
These are actual excerpts
Yep.
from your journal. They're not just inspired by your journal. Give us a few examples, if you would, that are safe for morning television, as I'll tell you. And there's Chad when he was 11 and today. Parental advisory stamp on the cover here. And you mean that because there's some language and different topics inside the book that some kids might not be ready for.
Absolutely. Well, it's definitely not a kid's book. Let's go ahead and start with that. Because, you know, it's amazing that that time in life is so raw and so real, and there's so many emotions going on. You've got first crushes, usually your first heartbreak, your first kiss, first everything, and you're dealing with all of these really confusing, conflicting feelings and emotions. And then you have a whole classroom of kids that are all feeling the same way, but everybody thinks all the eyes are on them, and nobody wants to talk about it. And so during that time, I wrote a lot. So.
You had some colorful language in 1993. I'm noticing. Some of these entries are longer, some are shorter. How did you get into journaling so faithfully?
I have to blame my mother, unfortunately, but you know, she'll
thank her now
well,
that you've written
will,
a book about it.
Yeah. Although I don't know how she feels about the book.
Well, let's talk about that, because some of this stuff is deeply personal. You've changed the names of your friends as you wrote about them, but the rest we know it's you.
Correct.
And your family. How do they feel?
You know, I did everything I could to protect them, but ultimately, at that time frame, other than, oh, I'm really mad at my parents because they won't let me go to this party, or I'm mad because I'm grounded a lot. You know, other than that, life centers around you at that age. So really, they were just a blip on the radar on the book. My brother, my sister, my mom, my dad. So they're only dropped in there a little bit. I think the fear that even though they know that these are very honest things that a lot of kids go through, it's more of, why did you have to be the one to do it? But that's when I blame them, because they got me writing by the time I was 5. So they raised us to be very open, share your feelings. You know, we used to sit at a kitchen table, and everybody in the family had to take 20 minutes to either draw pictures of how they felt or journal what they felt and then share it with everybody. So it's their fault.
You might have hated that at the time, but you realize now how many parents would love to have that kind of dinner table dynamic.
Absolutely.
That everybody's holding on to a tablet or a smartphone, and they're not talking much anymore, much less spending 20 minutes expressing feelings.
No, and we need to teach. I mean, I think parents are just as guilty of this, and not all, but some. We need to take time, 10 minutes a day, to just personally reflect. We need to take time by ourselves to write, to journal, to think, to meditate, because only in solitude can you really be honest with yourself.
You said you didn't write this book for kids. No. It's geared toward adults. So what do you want moms and dads specifically to learn from your journals? You know,
when I started the journey, it was about the kind of humor behind how ridiculous puberty is in retrospect. But over time, we started having parents and educators that had read early versions of the book come back and say, you know, I got a lot better insight on what my child is really going through. Because once you're out of it, you box it up, you put it away, and you forget about it. Because we don't want to remember that pain.
No, you repress those memories, but what's fascinating to me is you might have done that were it not for these journals that jogged your memory about those times, because you kept such detailed accounts of the day-to-day. You've got a book signing coming up, so if our viewers want to come get a copy of the book and meet you, they can.
Yes.
Where will you be and when?
This Saturday, we're at the Bookworm, and we'll be there from 5 to 7. You can come out. We're the last book signing that day, so we're going to have some wine for everybody, and they can stop out and
from 5 to 7.
Or from 5 to 6.
Okay. Well, So we were right, just 1 hour. I don't want people showing up and then
Nope.
you're not there and hopes and dreams are crushed, you know.
I know, that would be terrible.
The website, if you'd like to learn more about Chad's story, about his journey to writing this book, Surviving Puberty, the website is survivingpuberty.com. Thanks for joining us
Absolutely.
today.
Thanks for having me.
A sense of bravery in writing all that you did. Next, who's taking over Miller Park in a few weeks and why your family might want to be part of it? Viola's here.